Hey guys, it's CarGuy11. I think you'll enjoy this interview JA's YouTube channel did on me. If you have any more questions, post them below. Thanks for watching.
All right, what's up, everybody? Today we are interviewing Marco, also known as CarGuy11, on YouTube. Marco, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, what's up guys? Thanks for joining us tonight. Obviously, you guys know my YouTube channel is CarGuy11. I mainly feature my sports car C7 Corvette Stingray. I also have my daily driver Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk on there. And we do car mods, some maintenance items. I do some racing with the Corvette, road course racing, drag racing, some autocross, stuff like that. Also do some road rallies and car events like did the cheap car challenge this past summer, and also try to do some auto show coverage at the media days. I just came back from the LA auto show, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely check out the channel if you haven't, and I hope to see you on there.
Alrighty, and we will start into our questions. First of all, since you brought up your little, what'd you call it, project car challenge type of thing?
Cheap car challenge.
Or cheap car challenge, my bad. What made you want to start that, and who did you start it with?
Actually, it was my buddy Tom Gear. It was definitely mimicked after the Top Gear, and he's been wanting to do it for a while now. So he presented the idea to us, me and another buddy of mine, and yeah, it sounded like a fun idea. I was a little skeptical at first, finding a car for $500 that would make it. We went from Pittsburgh to Ocean City, Maryland, and back. And yeah, it was tough. It was actually harder to find a car. I ended up with a 1992 Honda Accord, and it took longer to find a car and go through all the ads and actually find a decent vehicle that could make a trip like that, than actually doing the trip. But once I found the car, it was pretty fun and doing all the challenges and stuff. So there's definitely videos on my channel about the whole experience if you guys want to check it out. So it was pretty fun.
All right, for our next question, how did you get into cars?
I started really into cars when I was young. When I was a kid, I had race car wallpaper in my bedroom. Yeah, I started I always loved to play with the Matchbox cars and any kind of car stuff. I was always into as a kid, and then when I got older, I started subscribing to magazines when you actually used to subscribe to paper magazines, and like Car and Driver and Motor Trend and stuff. And I used to read them front to back as soon as the issue came in the mail. I loved reading all that. And then I started going to some of the car shows, like the Pittsburgh new car show, and also my dad did a lot of work on our family's cars and stuff. So I would help him out and watch him fix the cars and stuff. I was always interested in that stuff. So yeah, pretty much all my life.
So what was your first car?
My first car, well, when I was 16, when I got my license, I pretty much used family's cars. I have two older brothers, and we had some vehicles that we all kind of shared. So it wasn't personally my car, but my first actual vehicle that I bought wasn't until I graduated college. So when I got my first job out of college, I bought a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee V8, and yeah, so I really like that car, and I still like Jeeps, obviously. So I have one now. So that was my first actual car that I bought.
Nice. So, what was your childhood dream car?
I would say I was always wanted a Corvette. Um, when I was younger, there was some family members and friends of families that had Corvettes, and I always thought, wow, that'd be so cool to have one when I was older. And I even remember, I think when I was like, I don't know, early 20s or 21, I went to a dealer on my birthday, and I was just like, I'm going to see if they'll let me test drive a Corvette. and they did. The salesman was really cool, and I test drove one. It was a manual, and I fell in love after that, and I was like, I got to get one. So yeah, finally.
What generation Corvette was it that you got to test drive?
I think it was a C5. I want to say.
I actually guessed that right.
Yeah, and yeah, and I just remember, yeah, it just blew my mind how powerful it was. I mean, especially at the time. I mean, it was just like I never driven a fast car like that, and I was just blown away. So.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's why you have your C7 Corvette Stingray right now, is because that was your childhood dream car.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely wanted to get one, and when the C7 came out, I obviously was interested right away. But like that first model year, the 2014s of the C7 was really hard to get. There was waiting lists. They were sold out, and that same year, the Mustangs, the 2015 Mustang, came out, the new body style, and at that time, I decided I was just going to get the Mustang, and then I'll get the Corvette. I thought to myself, I'll get the Corvette, later in life. Start off with the Mustang, and like I said, get the Corvette later. But for those of you that know, I got the 2015 Mustang. I only had it a week, and I got hit by a drunk driver and totaled a car. And yeah, it was pretty bad. So after that, I was like, shit, life's too short. I'm just gonna go for the Corvette now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I was like, that's it. I'm just going for the Corvette. So
do you have a current dream car right now that's like beyond the Corvette?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so much into the exotics. I always dream about like getting like a Ferrari. I like the F12 or the super fast now that they call it, the V12. That's the one I dream about having. That, it's probably not something that'll ever happen, but that would be like a super dream car. I'm fascinated with the GT cars, like the either the 911 GT3 or the Cayman GT4, which is a little bit more affordable. And I do like the wings on them. I think they're pretty. They're one car that really looks good with the wing on it, in my opinion, because they're pretty plain when you don't have the wing. And like the ZR1 Corvette with the wings, a little bit over the top because the Corvette's already styled pretty heavily. But the Porsches with the wing, it's in pretty good. I mean, I really like this. That would probably be my current dream car right now, a Porsche GT.
So how did you get into the car scene in your hometown?
That's a good question. After I got divorced, I was looking more into things I like to do, and I started getting into the car scene because obviously I like cars, and then I also got my sports cars, or was planning to get sports cars. So I really wanted to get into it more, and First, I started with the Cars and Coffees, which are pretty much local to any area. But that was a good place to meet people and see what the car scene was. Also, I do track driving, so I attended like track racing events at our local racetrack. Was a pit race. I met some friends there. In fact, I met Tom Gear there, and we hit it off, and we started doing a lot of car stuff together. So pretty much definitely try to look at local racing events or autocross or drag strips, go to those kind of things. And then the car shows itself, like the Cars and Coffee or the local car shows. And really, I was shocked to find there's so many local car shows, like pretty much every day of the week if you wanted to. So there's like websites and stuff you can look for that kind of stuff. But I found a website that, at least in my area, shows like all the car shows in the area, or car cruises, that they call them. So that's a pretty good place to start.
So what is your favorite track out of all the tracks you have driven on?
I haven't driven on a ton of tracks, but I really do like pit race, just because of the elevation changes in this area. There's a lot of hills, and man, it's like almost like a roller coaster. You go down a valley and come back up. That's really fun. There's a lot of blind corners because you're coming up a hill and you can't see what's ahead of you, which is scary. But once you know the track, it's not too bad. But so I really like pit race. I also been out to Chicago with my buddy Autonut, and we did the Autobahn Country Club, which was a huge track. I did the full course. It was like 20 some turns, which was really overwhelming because I never really got to learn the track. But that was cool too. I'd like to experience more though, definitely. Some of the ones, like there's some in Ohio and Virginia, of course, stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to experience more in the future here.
Yeah, of course. So what is the story of your first ticket?
First ticket, what I can remember, definitely like in high school, something like that. A cop was following behind me without his lights on, without anything, and I didn't know. It was at night, of course. I didn't see him, and there's a lot of hills in Pittsburgh, like I said, and out coming down this hill was I think a 45 mile per hour road. I mean, it's 2-lane road, but coming down the hill, I hit like, I don't know, 70, 80, something like that. And he waited until like I was at the bottom of the hill and it flattened out, and then he put his lights on. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't really even argue because he was right behind me, and I didn't notice it. So I'm a little paranoid even to this day now. Like, I see somebody behind me at night and I'm like, is that a cop or not? I always look in the rearview mirror. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was I believe that was my first ticket.
Okay. Have you ever been arrested before?
No. Fortunately not. I'm gonna knock on wood here. I have not been arrested.
What's some interesting encounters you've had with the police?
Well, for the most part, I would say I've had positive experiences. I've gotten let go or like not charged for speeding, like charged for something else. Like they make up a charge like disobeying the rules of the road or something. That doesn't give you points. In PA, you get points on your license if you get charged. If you get a speeding ticket, you get so many points and they take your license away. So you do got to watch. And I know I've gone like, I think the one road is 55 and he pulled me over going like 84 or something. He told me this, the cop, and he let me go. Like I mean, I got a ticket for, like I said, doing disobeying the rules of the road or something. But so I don't know. I can't really complain about the interactions I've had with them. For the most part, they've been cool. Other times I've fought some tickets and they reduced the charge.
So how did you get into doing YouTube?
Yeah, that's a good question. When I started wanting to get my sports, I never really had a dedicated sports car until I got the Mustang. I started doing research on the Mustang on YouTube. I mean, well, other places as well, of course, but I started watching videos on YouTube, and I came across Dude in Blue. That was the first time I really found a YouTuber that, you know, actually did like vlogs and like was more than just doing car reviews. Like it was pretty much the first YouTuber that I realized did more than just the normal reviews. Like he would, you know, had a YouTube life in a way. So he kind of got me started with watching YouTube regularly for more than, like I said, just researching things. And then I also found Subaru WRX Fan, which through Dude in Blue, on one of his videos, and I found out, well, not now he's Matt Moran, of course, but I found out that Matt lives in Pittsburgh. So I also then met Matt. He goes to local Cars and Coffee and stuff like that in Pittsburgh. So I met up with him and actually had him review my Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, because when I got it, it was still fairly new vehicle as far as like there weren't too many around and stuff. So I asked him if he wanted to do a review on it, and he did. And when we filmed the review, I was there. I was, you know, watching him. I was in the passenger seat and stuff like that, and interested. Started asking him questions about, you know, YouTube and, you know, how he did all his how he got into it, and, you know, with, you know, some advice and stuff like that. So after that, I was like, you know what, I'm really interested in it. I want to do it. I'm going to start it when I get the Mustang. I told myself I'm gonna start, you know, doing videos, and I actually did. I only had the Mustang a week, but I made several videos in that first week, and actually some did fairly well. I mean, actually very well for just starting off on YouTube, and also because it was a brand new model, I think, too, because the 2015 Mustang was a new model. So I got, you know, my first like 100 subscribers pretty quick, and and I was like, dang, I guess I'm gonna keep doing this. But unfortunately, then I had the accident, and then I didn't really have content, and there was like a law. I did post the accident, picture of the accident stuff, which got a lot of views as well. But after that, it was like, shoot, I don't have any content. So I kind of like stopped YouTube for a while. And then I picked it up again right before I got the Corvette. And this is a long story, but so when I got the Corvette, I knew I wanted to do a delivery video because I ordered a Corvette. And when I did the Mustang, I ordered a Mustang as well. Luckily, I got the footage of the car coming off the truck, and that did extremely well. It got like 50,000 views or something when I was like, wow, not even anything. So I was like, I'm definitely getting the Corvette off the truck. And I like hounded my dealer. I'm like, when is the truck coming? and it was like the day before. They're like, oh, it looks like it might show up tomorrow. It's not guaranteed, but like he's like, I don't know what state he was in, and I was like, all right, I'm calling off work. I went there at like 8 a.m. and just like waited for the truck. And
well, that's pure determination right there.
Oh yeah, like I mean, it was like I knew I had to be there. So it showed up like, I don't know, within an hour after I was there, and I, you know, got the footage. And that video, that's the best video on my channel, has like 360,000 views, something like that. Wow. And that, I mean, I got like, then I got my first like 1,000 subscribers like right away again
Wow.
because of that video, and I was like, holy crap. I didn't know like what to do. Like it was climbing and climbing with this video. So, and then I just started making like weekly videos on the Corvette, and I mean, obviously none did as well as that, but and
Yeah.
it's definitely like slowed down and plateaued since then. But
You could
I kind
definitely
of
say
got,
that was your first viral video.
yeah, absolutely, and it kind of like jump started me, that like pushed me along. Like if it took me a long time to get that many, I may have just given up and said, it's too hard. And I feel that way now sometimes because it's so slow, you know, like I have a very slow climb right now.
Yeah.
But you know, when I first got thrown into it pretty crazily, that yeah, it kind of made me excited to do it and stuff. But I absolutely still like doing it. It's just you know, it's crazy how some channels just grow like overnight. And
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I
There's a
mean,
lot of channels that it's just they get that one magical video that
mhm,
sparks that algorithm. You know, we'll get there eventually.
yeah,
So what's some cool things that you have experienced from doing YouTube?
definitely meeting people, which is really cool. Um, Online mainly, but some in person. Um, and you know, getting recognized is really cool when you're a YouTuber. And not that it happens much at all with me, but there's a, you know, select few times and it just catches you off guard. And like I met this one lady, I was taking my car in for service at the Chevy dealer, and she's like, "Hey, are you CarGuy11?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I watch your videos. You help me, you know, sell me on the Corvette." I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool," you know, stuff like that. So that's probably the best part of it. And you know, even like I have the my license plate on the Corvette, and sometimes people message me like on Instagram or something. They'll see the plate and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're seeing your videos," or just find me just from that, not even seeing my videos, and that's pretty cool too. Just so yeah, I, it's the people mainly. That's the most fun of
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I agree also. So, what kind of a job do you have besides YouTube?
Yeah,
Because
YouTube. Go
I
ahead.
mean, a lot of people don't consider YouTube a job, but if you think the amount of hours and work that us YouTubers put into it, it
Yeah,
is kind of like a second job.
absolutely.
Even
I
if it
mean,
doesn't pay like one, it is still like a second job.
yeah, it does take a lot of time. It's definitely a hobby for me, and it's more like fun money, and also um, helps out with getting other opportunities, like you know, to install parts or to get invited to a car show, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool for me. But yeah, my main job actually, I work with self-driving vehicles. I work with Uber ATG in Pittsburgh. It's the Advanced Technology Group, and we work on the self-driving Uber. So it's it's a recent job for me. I started this past summer, and I really enjoy it. It's pretty cool working with vehicles and the newest technology out there. Even though I'm a car guy, it's still pretty cool to see the technology, the latest technology that, you know, someday we're all going to be facing. So at least I get to help develop it and test it out. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, because you're an engineer, correct?
Yeah, mechanical engineer.
What is car culture like in your area?
I think it's pretty healthy. It's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of, like, you get the high end with the cars and coffee, the Ferraris and Lambos and Alphas and all the fancy stuff in those type of things. There's also there's other groups that do like the Stance Stance Nation, stuff like that. There's some of those car shows. And then there's also like the classic cars. Some other shows are more classic. And then there's, of course, the American Muscle and everything like that. So I think it's a pretty good variety. I really can't complain. I mean, it's not like LA or anything, but
Yeah.
but it's still a pretty decent variety for the area where we live in.
So what are some sketchy things you have done in a car before?
I mean, obviously, taking cars to Mexico can be sketchy.
Well, yeah,
And
sometimes those Mexico roads can be pretty dangerous with the cartels and other unknown things.
right. So obviously, everyone's gone to Mexico, and those are definitely sketchy, and I really don't recommend it, and I really don't even do that anymore because of my job right now. I got to be really careful with my job right now. Yeah, the other sketchy stuff I've done is off-roading. And I had like I said, my first vehicle was a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I pretty much busted the front differential when I took it off-roading. Definitely, yeah, I messed that vehicle up pretty good. I fixed it up, got it fixed up, ended up trading it in, but then I got a Wrangler, took that off-roading. That I didn't break. I don't think I broke that one. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I've done some sketchy stuff off-road for sure that may not have been the best. But of course, racetrack driving is sketchy as well. I mean, there's times when you got to catch it on a racetrack, and that's really scary because there's no insurance on a racetrack. I mean,
unless you pay big buku money to do it, yeah.
Right, and if you mess your car up there, you're kind of screwed. And of course, I busted my rear end on the C7 at a drag strip.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, so that was sketchy. Fortunately, that was covered under warranty because GM does cover their cars mechanically on a racetrack. Now, if I crashed it, I would have been screwed. But yeah.
Well, speaking of this topic, Import Domestic just commented. He said, "Didn't you almost have a moonroof hit you in your Jeep?"
Oh, yes, I got that on dash cam. I have a video on that actually. Yeah,
I remember seeing that, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Damn.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy for sure. And then I just recently, well, I wasn't driving, but my buddy Chad hit a deer with the C7. So have a video on that. And
yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, I have a dash cam footage. Definitely dash cam is worthwhile, I think. I mean, to catch stuff like that.
So another question is, what all vehicles have you owned during your lifetime? From your first car till, well, we already know your first car, so we don't have to state that one.
Yeah.
But, like, what have you owned between then and the C7 and your Cherokee Trailhawk? Okay. So what have you owned in between, though?
Yeah, in between, I had a TJ, Jeep Wrangler TJ, fun car. Was a second car for me, so didn't use it as a daily, but that was actually my only used vehicle. I'm a new car guy, so that was, yeah, I think that, well.
Hey, maybe your channel should be called New CarGuy11.
Yeah. I have a video on that too, New Car Guy, but yeah, so I think that was my only used car, plus the Honda Accord that I just bought this past summer for that challenge. But
I mean, that was a challenge vehicle, so I mean,
yeah, that was a challenge vehicle. So other than that, I had a Mazda 6 V6 manual. It was a 2003. That was a fun car. I did a lot of autocross with that car, and it was light, pretty light car, but it was really sporty for the time. At that time, it looked like a really sporty car. I really enjoyed that car, actually. Front wheel drive though, that's one thing about that car. The front wheel drive with the V6 torque and the manual, like you were always spinning the front tires. So I didn't like that. Then I got the Audi A4 Quattro. That was a 2-liter turbo with the manual as well, 6-speed manual, and that was not my first all-wheel drive car, but first sporty all-wheel drive. It was also the first turbo I had, and that I love that car. But I did a lot of I did tunes to it. I had the APR tune and modifications and stuff, and I never got that car to run properly, and it burned oil and had issues. I had issues with that car per se, and I kind of said I'm not getting turbos anymore after that car, because the turbos, it ran when it ran, man, that was powerful, but man, I had like pinging, I had oil consumption issues. It was a troublemaker for sure. So, but I liked the car. But yeah, so I think, and then after that is when I I traded it in for the Jeep, because yeah, I figured I'd go back to 2 vehicles, sports car and a daily driver. So I figured I'll do the Jeep 4-wheel drive, and then I have well, at the time I thought I was getting the Mustang, but then I ended up with the Corvette. So, but before with the Audi, I was using that for racing, daily driving, everything. So it did get a lot of abuse.
Yeah, that would explain why it broke.
Yeah, and I remember the one time I had it on the drag strip, and that turbo got so damn, it was like one after another. They let me, it wasn't a busy night at the track, and I kept going around, and I opened my hood to check engine light came on. My turbo was bright red. I was like, oh, shit. so yeah, that poor thing. Yeah, you got it.
So in the comments, AutoNut asks, of the cars you've owned, if you could get one back for a week, which would you pick and why?
I would like all of them back for a week, honestly. No, I mean, like, I like them all. I mean, there wasn't one that I hated, for sure. I definitely wish I had more time in the Mustang, but I mean,
well, yeah, that one kind of got cut short.
Yeah, maybe the original Jeep, maybe the original V8 Grand Cherokee, just because you can't really get that car anymore. You could still get a Wrangler, you could still get the new Mustang, and yeah, that one's like you'd have to search for pretty good used.
Okay, AutoNut asks, what do you think your next car will be?
I really would love to do Porsche next, or I would like an Italian car as well. So an Alfa possibly, but I'd like to see. I heard the new Alfa 4C, or they're going to revise it for 2019. I'd like to see what that's going to be like, and then of course, like I said earlier, like the GT4 came in. I want to see when that comes out. Again, I'm a new car guy, so it's like it's tough for me to go used. I mean, I definitely would, but I would prefer to be new if I could afford it. So,
yeah, isn't that almost how a lot of people are, though?
Yeah,
if they can afford it.
You're right. So.
Well, since that seems to be all the questions, thank you for joining us on the interview series, Marco.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
If you guys want any other YouTubers you want me to interview, let me know down in the comments. And definitely check out Marco's channel. He's got a beautiful blue C7 Stingray that you should definitely check out. It looks fantastic. And he does a really good job with his videos and stuff too. So definitely check him out. Link will be in the description. And we will see you guys next video.